Evening, everybody. It's almost 6:30 on this Monday evening, the 30th of January, and I guess the title of this should be "Reality Reigns." Um, right from the get-go this morning, actually from last night's futures markets, it was clear that somebody had basically flipped the switch and brought everyone back to reality. Um because we have so much economic news this week that it's just hard to ignore. It was easy when there was some confirmational bias when everybody wanted to see the market higher, and it was that, they just basically tossed all caution to the wind, and now we have this. Um, we have a lot of economic news. We have the FOMC, we have OPEC Plus, we have the ECB and the Bank of England all putting out information this week. And of course, we had earnings. So uh, the indexes were not sharply lower, but lower. 0.75% down on the Dow after last week's rallies is, hard to be concerned about, but the internals were 2 to 1 to the downside. Over on the NASDAQ, which was down almost 3 times the percentage of the Dow, down 228 or just under 2%, and 5 to 2 advanced declines volume was slightly lower. The S&P gave up 53 points or 1.3, also 1.35 in the Russell, down 25.74, and the biggest loser for the day was the Dow Jones Transports, down 2.25%, $326. What was interesting, though, was that the VIX didn't even get above 20. It closed 1994, and while it was up over 7.75%, $1.43, it still is below 20. This morning we had earnings news from Sofi. It was trading at around $6.30, up 37 cents pre-open. It managed to close, it traded as high as 701, managed to close 664, up 69 cents or 12%. Same with Phillips. Phillips was 1796, up 97 or 5.7% on both a beat and a layoff. It managed to make it over 18, closed 1805, up $1.06 or 6.2%. And this afternoon we had earnings from J&J Snack Foods. The stock had traded in the regular market 149.12, and that was down 52 cents, but it continued substantially lower, closed 141.67, down $7.97. Also, kind of an interesting one, Johnson & Johnson. Evidently, the bankruptcy court had trouble thinking about letting them bankrupt the unit that they had moved all of their talc lawsuits into. But the appeals court said that, being that it is only one of the only two members of the S&P 500 that has a triple A credit rating, they weren't buying the bankruptcy. The Dow was 22 up and 22 down and 8 up. On the upside, the only one that added double-digit Dow points was Goldman Sachs, adding 24. On the downside, however, we had some pretty big dips. Chevron down 35, same with Microsoft down 36, and the Johnson & Johnson was down 42. So, not overwhelming moves. The chart on the screen is Bitcoin, and as you can see, it rallied all the way up to 24,090 and then closed pretty close to the low and down on the day. Now, the Bitcoin was only down 495, but since it's a 24/7 trader in the real world, it actually was down over $1,000. So the futures were only down 500. They were also down on Friday, so not overwhelming. But you can see that we're getting into this area where there should be some resistance, has been before, and it's basically unchanged tonight. It's up $60. But it, as I said, closed on the low. It's been very extended to the upside. Oil was down $1.78. And let's just go back to there and see what the rest of the complex did. I know that the nat gas was down. Okay, oil up 4 cents. No real change in the heating oil or gasoline, and nat gas is exactly unchanged. Gold was down about $6.50 and is down another $1.30 tonight. However, the silver was actually up on the day, 11 cents. So we'll see how that shakes out. We had a move to the downside today in the copper, the platinum, and the palladium. So, as I've mentioned over the last couple of days and in this week's market insights, really like to see the whole complex going in one direction. Tonight, S&P up 8, up 24 in the Nasdaq, up 32 in the Dow, up 490. But we'll see how that breaks out first thing in the morning. And of course, there are plenty of earnings. The dollar was up pretty strongly here, and was up pretty strongly during the day today. It was up 36 cents, has not reopened yet, but we'll have to see how that works. Bitcoin up 105. The bonds, which were slightly lower, down about 3/8 of a dollar today, are basically unchanged, up 1/32. All right, everyone. Barring another interruption of a phone call, I'll be back first thing in the morning.